This week, the sky brings another thrilling chapter or conclusion to this eclipse story, the kind of astrology that reminds us that we are going through an epic change of karmic and cosmic proportions. And we're going to talk about how to deal with all of that, the drama, the diplomacy, the divine direction of it all on today's episode. But first,
welcome to Cosmic RX Radio, a podcast that gives you real-life tools of spiritual empowerment and pure hype. I'm your host and intuitive guide, MADI Murphy. I'll be serving up your weekly energy readings, cosmic boss interviews, and astro inspiration. Are you ready to love yourself more, manifest your dream life, and own your magic? Let's jump in.
buckle up, baddies. I am your high priestess pilot. I'm your cosmic consultant, your mystical and messy guide on this wild ride of being a human, Maddie Murphy, and welcome to today's episode of Cosmic RX Radio. This is your Monday Moon Day weather, your astro weather report, your energy report. We are going to be talking about WTF is going on in the cosmos and how can it help us here on Earth align with our highest and hottest self and understand all these plot twists, all of the, I don't know it, cosmic chaos that's going on. And as a reminder, if you're new here, hi, I'm so happy to have you here. This is always in service, right, to your highest and purest good. It's never about fear mongering. It's never about even fortune telling or future predicting. This is astrology that is here to align you, not define you, and definitely not to terrify you. But it's been a lot, right? Eclipse season. So let's talk about it. How are we feeling? Let's do a quick check-in, vibe check, hand on heart. Let's take a breath. Let's unclench the jaw. Let's unclench the butt. Let's just let it loose a little bit. I also love so many of you this week on Instagram. I was like, I think we need like an unclench yourself emoji. And so many of you submitted such fantastic emoji combinations. It's like truly inspiring what we all can do. We put our minds to it. And thank you. I needed that because I need to put that emoji like in a calendar alert on my phone, like on the hour, every hour. Because as humans, right, we get so like, we want to understand everything. We have such a fear of uncertainty. We really move away from discomfort. And this whole eclipse season is asking us as a reminder, right? Past month has been asking us to really double down, triple down on our ability to trust, on our ability to surrender, on our ability to kind of see that we're being guided by some larger unseen force, and that maybe the universe does have our back, but we have to consent to letting it guide us instead of thinking we always have to have, it all figured out, or that just because we don't know how something is going to end up, then it is too scary, too big, too XYZ for us. And this week, you are going to understand, I think, in a really grounded, embodied way, maybe the next small step you can take in that direction. If you've been feeling like, I do have to make a change, I feel it coming this eclipse season, but I just don't understand, what do I do next? Okay, so we're gonna get into that in a little bit. Again, if you're new here, welcome. I always like to kick off with Virgo announcements, which I just call that because I am a Virgo and I always have to do like my housekeeping, my admin at the top of every call. Then we're gonna get into the moon report to understand what is happening in the lunar weather with the moon sign. Every day, the moon is in a different zodiac sign, or every 2.5 days she switches. But every day, the moon sign can help us understand what we're feeling in our emotional world. And then we can help, first of all, externalize that and not take it on. Then we can process it. We can embody it. We can work with the energy instead of it like kind of working us over. So we're going to talk about the moon weather. And then, of course, we're going to talk about planetary planning. What do we need to know? We have some Mercury moving into Libra, Venus moving into Virgo this week. And the big headline, we have the Virgo solar eclipse, the second new moon in Virgo. We have in this Virgo season, significant new beginnings, major energetic shifts on deck. And yeah, just a lot going on. So let's get into those announcements. My first announcement is just thank you for the birthday wishes. Your girl, I just turned 41 and I am feeling just younger, cuter, more feral, more ungovernable than ever. And so it was just so nice to hear from all of you. and so nice to just have like kind of a little bit of a chill birthday. Past few years have been so wild. The past year has been really wild. And it's had a really sweet day. I always like to make my birthday intentional, and I also like to celebrate it on or around the days, doing something to infuse the energy of the next year, right? Like, how do I want to start this year? What do I want to create more of? What do I want to plant seeds of? So I had a really nice day with my family. We had quality time. My sister took me to get this really cool piece of permanent jewelry that has emotional significance to me. We, did a hot family walk. And basically just like lots of snuggles, lots of just slowing down, being present, because that is one of my major birthday wishes. It's just like, let me just slow down time, because everything with my babies and life just feels really sweet right now. So thank you all for contributing to that. And just a reminder to you that like your birthday is a magical portal. Like, spend some time, even if people in your life. I think when I was younger in my 20s, sometimes my birthday was met with a lot of like disappointment because, and I definitely, my family really comes through. And now the friends that I have on purpose and my really chosen family, they come through in a big way. But it really started with me being like, you know what? If I want my birthday to be special, I'm going to have to start it for myself. And let me do something that feels like a celebration of my life, my sacredness, and, honoring the solar revolution I just had, while also now preparing for like choosing, how I want to feel for the next year, what I want to call in. So, yeah, I'm just leaving it out there. Also, go just talk about having a birthday, your solar return, coming off of your lunar return, as it was an eclipse. Did anybody else feel like on like the Tuesday, Wednesday, I literally felt like I was on psychedelic drugs. Like I was just like, what's happening? That Pisces energy was hitting. The other Virgo announcements, if you want to hear about the current events that are happening on the world stage, a lot happened this past week. I won't even get into it here, but we all know the headlines are just coming on so nonstop. And if you want to hear about some of the astrology behind that and how we can better make sense of it, contextualize it, and show up better to meet this moment, check out our separate mini-sodes. If Astrology Isn't Real is the name of that segment. You can get it exactly here where you listen to your podcast on YouTube. So check that out. And if you're in the New York City area, my babies, are we partying this week? Are we kind of ending out this Virgo, this eclipse season strong, or at the very least, like crying, but together, looking cute while doing it? Because our New York City High Vibe Happy Hour to celebrate the launch of the book is happening this Tuesday, September 16th at Rocco's near Washington Square Park. Mark your calendars, bring your cosmic crew. It's free. We're going to have loads of, you don't even understand, like the giveaways, the little swag we've been working on. It's so cute. We're going to have custom cosmic RXs to pick up if you got a copy of your book. We're going to have cocktails, mocktails. We're going to have entering, raffles to win readings, so many cool things. And the very best or the very least or the very best on both ends of the spectrum, just time to hang out and like be together in community and just be like, whoa, the world is really crazy, but there are still a lot of just open-hearted cosmic bad bitches out there. And that's always really fortifying and really energizing, really healing to me. And then last, also, if you're in the LA area, we are currently planning some things on the West Coast. Definitely slide into my DMs, the Cosmic RX. If you have a spot or comment here, if you're watching on YouTube, if you have a spot or you work at a spot or own a spot and you think that we should be there, whether it's a bookshop or a coffee shop or a bar or some kind of workout studio, we're just kind of putting together that tour right now. And I would love your input. My last and final Virgo announcement is just that leave a rating and review for the podcast if you haven't already. Not only do we just appreciate it, not only does it help more baddies find this information to hopefully empower them, but also I'm picking one person a week to win a burning question cosmic voice note from me. So this week, the winner is Victoria Male. You pronounce something like, am I just overcomplicating that? And the review and the rating says, my cosmic and spiritual anchor. I've been tuning into Cosmic RX for a few years now. And as someone who loves dabbling in astrology, MADI has emerged as the perfect guide to break down and advise how to live in alignment and integration with the seasons of the sky and my life. It's been a privilege to support her brand and business grow, whether through the fantastic Cosmic Zone book, or working with her one-on-one. Wait. Oh my goodness. Okay. Basically, Maddie's helped me feel not so alone. And my week is always better when I started with this podcast. Oh my goodness. Hello. Okay. So Victoria, slide in my DMs. Sounds like I probably already have your birth chart. But if you can, send me a screenshot, the Cosmic RX or at I am Maddie Murphy. Either one works. And let me know a burning question. I will send you a voice note. And if you want to be like Victoria, leave a rating and review on Spotify, on iTunes. I so appreciate it. Okay, let's get into the moon of it all. Let's talk about that emotional weather. Let's talk about that lunar self-care. So, on brand for this segment, Monday and Tuesday, we open the week with a moon in Cancer. So the things that we're going to want to do, our Cosmic RXs, our prescription for this time is to nest, right? Is to make comfort food, is to tend to your emotional body like you are a baby plant. You are a baby love fern. Okay. Do not let your love fern die. All right. We want you to tap into nourishment, into tending to yourself, into nurturing yourself. And we're not going to go into the place of smothering other people or holding on to control or spiraling into codependency or getting leaky with our energetic boundaries and thinking that you have to, give all of yourself to receive any kind of love or validation. On those days, we can also be a scooch emotional, especially with the eclipse season, like heightens everything. So when you feel yourself about to spiral or crash out, maybe pull it back in, pull in the reins and be like, I don't have to answer every text immediately. I don't have to live my life with this urgency. I can pull back and just take care of myself a little bit and slow down. Okay. Wednesday to Friday, we have the moon is in Leo. I want you to think about on these days, expressing yourself, dancing, being a little extra, wearing something a little extra, making life feel like it can be colorful, it can be vibrant, even in some of these more trying times. And you know what, like bring the world some color and definitely rock that main character energy. You are the main character of your own story, and acting like it can really shift the vibe, can change our frequency, our light. And we are here to really like spread that light and shine from the inside out. So these are good days to practice that. The things that we will look out for, of course, is like just, kind of like leaping into drama for drama's sake, or noticing where we are looking and craving and even like chasing validation or approval from others. We don't need that, honey, baby. You are the only permission slip you need to understanding how freaking hot and amazing you are is just yourself. It is the planetary permission slip of your birth chart. And like I said, shine from the inside out, not from looking to other people to reflect and validate that shine. And then Friday afternoon to Sunday, we have the moon in Virgo, which is leading us straight into the Virgo solar eclipse. So we want to think about during these days, decluttering, making space. Like there's something so grounding about resetting your physical space, coming back into routines and rituals that serve you. Just, whether that's a tidy up, whether that's like going for a walk. I've been doing my hot girl walks. My commitment was to do one every day of Virgo season. I've missed a few, but I've been really good with them. When I do them, I just feel my whole nervous system like sigh with relief. I also feel like I've showed up for myself. I clear my head. So think about what are those rituals? We're going to get into this a lot, talking about like the Virgo new moon, the eclipse. But just a reminder, like this is always going to be a good thing, especially as we go into the days of the exact eclipse, things can get really heightened. And then we're just not going to get into the place of perfectionism or micromanaging your life to death. Okay. Progress over perfection, like taking steps forward, like starting and just beginning and getting things moving is way better than waiting until you feel ready, because that might never come if you don't get moving on something. Right. And just thinking too, like this even applies to eclipse season in general. Sometimes during eclipses, I get a lot of like freaked out messages of like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? And it's just like showing up for yourself, trusting the universe and being really like attuned to your own energy, what's happening around you is usually like the biggest eclipse medicine. And less about like, with all of astrology isn't here to give you like a failing grade. Astrology isn't here to punish you. It's just like, it's here to guide you. And the more that you have awareness of it and the more awareness of yourself, you're going to move through these moments, right? With more alignment. And I think that's a great segue. into the planetary planning of it all. So let's mark the calendars. Mercury moves into Libra September 18th. Venus moves into Virgo September 19th. And then, of course, we have this Virgo eclipse on the 21st. So just off the bat, what do we need to know for Mercury in Libra? Well, Mars has been in Libra. And so this is going to join up. And I hope, on the personal level, we can, we've gotten really into the details. We got really into the nitty gritty of it all with Mercury and Virgo. And now we might be having some Libra diplomacy. Good God, I hope this, pans out in the world stage, but that's a separate episode to talk about that. But on the personal level, this might be a great invitation starting around September 18th through October 6th to smooth out misunderstandings with people, to negotiate. If you have to negotiate on something, this is a great time to do that. And it's also a great time in your personal world to bring more beauty and balance into your life, right? In the Cosmic Zone, in my book, I talk about the archetypal energy of Libra through the seventh key. We can create harmony, right? This is about your ability to co-create relationships, business deals, romantic partnerships, and even art that feels aligned, that feels win-win, that feels like we can all get a little bit of a slice of this pie, and I can just create, messaging that feels like a masterpiece, that feels like bringing a little bit more elegance or balance, like I said, or just like, I always think about Libra as this really refined, like breath of fresh air beauty, right? And sometimes like, it's great to romanticize your life with Mercury and Libra, like have a date with a friend of yours and, each of you have to bring like an amazing playlist as your soundtrack for the night, or go to a little art gallery, and spend the night soaking up just beauty, around you and people watching and in the art, or freshen up your dating profile, like add something too about like Mercury and Libra loves like beauty, but not just a pretty face. Mercury and Libra is very much centered in social justice. And we have a lot going on right now in our society that needs us to take a beautiful stance on. And so I'm like, bring that into your dating profile. Let's see what happens. Okay. Now, just a little mini heads up before we get into the Venus and Virgo of it all. On the 18th, Mercury is going to move opposing Neptune, right? Neptune's in Aries. So just thinking about this day, things might get a little foggy or confusing, maybe really hard to understand, like what is what. So just double check. It's kind of like a Mercury retrograde for a day or so, and it's eclipse season. So let's just double check your texts, read fine print on things, take brain breaks, slow down, double, triple check things, right? And then we move into Venus and Virgo on September 19th. And this means that we have through October 13th to really find out how much love is in the details, right? How much our heart energy wants to be witnessed and seen in just even the most mundane things in our life that can be transformed into something magical with the right intention and care. So thinking about our love, our romance, but also our self-care, our self-love, to be simple, grounded, right? And this is like, just gets us into that fall energy. It feels, again, like it's very devotional. It's very sweet. It's very like tending to yourself. It also just feels like, I don't know, a mood board of like cottagecore and cozy sweaters and taking yourself to like little coffee shops to do your journaling in. And it also feels like if you're in a relationship, whether that's romantic or you have people that you love in your life, like noticing that the small ways in which you could show them that you see them, that you love them, right? Like emptying the dishes for your partner before they come home, if you know they've had a long day and you've had a long day too, but you're like, God, I just know that clean sink makes them feel a certain kind of a way. Or your friend loves a certain pen from a stationery store. Can you pick that up before you're about to meet up with them for a catch up? Or, just dropping a beloved pastry on your coworker's desk. There's something about just the little tiny ways that we can show people that like they matter. And of course, doing that for ourselves too, right? And in this leading into the eclipse, there is something really in that key 6 from in the cosmic zone around practice makes magic. Venus here is reminding us we go into the eclipse that the romance that we seek, we want to cultivate within ourselves or in the world is really found in the daily rituals and the showing up consistently for people we love and again, ourselves, our art, our dreams, our financial goals in a way that is like small little things done consistently are better than us trying to do one big dramatic sweep or overhaul, right? Like that's not sustainable. And that's one thing like Virgo energy likes things that are sustainable, accessible, and really work every day and for the long haul. So that leads me into the Virgo new moon solar eclipse of it all. So on September 21st, we have something that's already kind of rare in terms of an eclipse. And as a reminder, eclipses happen in pairs and they tell a story through an ongoing, usually 18-month to 2-year story. So our first eclipse we had in this axis, meaning like opposite signs, Virgo, Pisces, we had a Pisces full moon eclipse last September 2024, right? Then we had a Virgo eclipse in March. Then we had this eclipse just 2 weeks ago on September 7th, lunar eclipse in Pisces. So we're in the middle of the eclipse, which is kind of like being in the eye of the celestial storm. We're feeling a lot. We're kind of like in a portal. That's why I felt like I was on psychedelics earlier this week. I felt like I was in like a gravitron or something. Like I could literally feel the centrifugal force, or maybe it was the Schumann resonance, or just all the things like buzzy, buzzy, buzzy. And this story is going to continue really through next summer when the nodes will switch in summer of 2026. And we'll have more of these eclipses in February and March. But with the eclipses, they're always asking us to make some sort of like big change or have some kind of awareness, download, but it usually is something in our physical realm that we notice that we're being asked to let go of, step into all at once, trust the plot twist energy. And that is going to be especially true for you if you hold a lot of mutable energy. This is a big time for you. If you are Gemini, Sag, Virgo, Pisces, like this September for you is like something you probably a September to remember, as the local car dealerships used to say, except they were talking about December. But this is a September to remember because especially for people with heavy mutable signs in their chart, you're probably going to look back on this fall and be like, oh, that was like a clear line of my life, like before that time, after that time. So as we get ready to go into this Virgo new moon eclipse, what do we do to prepare for this? Because we never know what's going to happen during eclipse season, even if you think especially when there's like Pisces involved, you never know. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is think about mini rituals, things you can do to ground yourself. Like me, one thing, every day, especially eclipses, we really feel them for the month after. So we've been doing this amazing 28-day challenge within the Cosmic Zone for anyone who like bought the book, they signed up. We are going to do another one because I was like, it would be cool to just have something to do every day that anchored us, that grounded us for this energy. And it's made such a difference. Like it doesn't not have to be complicated, but even just committing to, having your coffee without being on your phone in the morning, journaling, doing your morning pages, stretching for 15 minutes, going for those hot girl walks. Like it's crazy just how ritualizing your life can help you show up with just so much more clarity, so much more peace, so much more intuitive access, right? So like what are those things that help you do that? I'm going to give you some recommendations of ways that you can work with this. So I would love to see you go into the Virgo eclipse, first and foremost, to do something like a sacred sweep. Clean your home, especially like high traffic areas of your home, with some sort of intention. And more than even just about it being perfect or like hashtag clean talk ready, more about like you're sweeping out old energy and inviting in clarity. Open the windows, right? Like give your floor a little like spiritual wash, do some lavender oil, some lemon oil. There's different like herbs you can use, Florida water, like clean the space, fan out the corners of the room, get rid of some of that physical clutter, and just see how that shifts your mood and your energy, right? I would love to have you, just go through and try to lighten your load in some kind of a way, whether that's decluttering, whether that's delegating, whether that's deleting some things. I want you to go through one area of your life, whether that's your calendar, your inbox, your to-do list, a junk drawer, and just do one of those things, right? Like I would just love the declutter. I would love just a delegate, a delete, like take something off of your plate for the love of the goddess. Okay. Number 3, embodied devotion. How can you do something? And this might be more of the ongoing practice I was talking about. How can you do something where you are showing up with so much love, with so much romance, with so much, yes, worship, so much devotion for yourself, for your physical body. Juicy ass stretching session. Last month, I had like an almost nearly sexual experience by reconnecting to my tennis ball. A tennis ball. I don't even know how cheap those things are, like $2. Rolling, like I just had so much tightness from, well, everything from the past year of my life, but so much like tension in my body. And I even, I went to my chiropractor, but it was like, she's like, I can only do so much here in one session, even if you come consistently. So it's like, let me go home, and I put on a movie, and I just foam rolled and tennis balled myself into like a puddle. And yeah, it would definitely hurt. Don't get me wrong. It felt so good. And I feel like there was such like a shift in my summer after that. So think about like, how can you get into your body, right? Like a stretching session, a tennis ball, a salt bath, applying lotion, even just like slowly as an act of grounding devotion, and doing that also a little consistently, right? Like the tennis ball, I did bust it out many times after that because I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. It also, like, for some reason, I just can't be on my phone while I do it. And so it's allowing me to just sit and be in my body and just like unwind, unfurl, untangle myself a little bit. And then I would love for you to think about during this Virgo season, something around, as you go into this eclipse, like what is a ritual or a container? And again, this could be around the eclipse date, or paying attention to downloads you have around it, or just doing it if you know what it is. But what is a ritual that helps you connect to your intuition more? We talked about this with some of my, our community members this week, or one of my mentees. But like Virgo likes a container to process all the Pisces information and digest it, metabolize it into information, into insight, into medicine, into healing energy. So it's like, is that pulling cards for you? Is that working with a pendulum? Is that like, where does your intuition kind of really speak to you in a way that feels grounded, that takes the metaphysical into the physical in some kind of a way, and just track it? And if you don't know what it is, try some things, right? Try it, and try it like a devotional practice, not a perfection project, or not like some kind of performance piece of like, I have to blow my own and everyone else's mind with my intuitive and psychic downloads. Nope, nope, not that. Just like, where do I feel connected into that sense of knowing in a way, again, that feels like something I can sink my teeth into a little bit. And then the last thing is like, can we be a little bit of like earth angel energy at your service this week? Can we choose one small act of service? And if this is like, seems overwhelming or daunting, or you're like, I have nothing left to give to anyone, that's fine. But there is something that is energizing about Virgo energy. It's about like connecting, right? Like something done with love, something with like, I have some sort of excess to give, right? Virgo is the virgin, the maiden, who has so much wheat in her crops that she is excited to give it. She's giving from a place of overflow. So if you don't have something to give, don't give it. But you might be surprised where you have overflow of knowledge, of wisdom, of, someone's talking about something hard they're going through. You don't have to take it on. You don't have to like be like, oh my God, I'm going to be your mentor, or you're like, vacuum and try and suck up all this negative energy from you. But you could say just something as simple as, you know what? Here's just a little ritual that I've done in those moments. Or, you know what? You should work with hematite, put it in your bra. Or, here's a podcast, Cosmic RX Radio, that I really like, right? It doesn't have to be like, being of service doesn't have to be, this came up with my amazing mentees this week. It doesn't have to be this like letting yourself bleed out for everyone else. It's quite the opposite, actually. It's like, here's everything that I've harvested in my life. It's so beautiful. It's so easy for me to give from this place of overflow, and let me help you. And it energizes me to do that with like, let me make life a little easier for you with this hack, with this tool. Because a true healer, and Virgo is such an earth-based healer, a true healer is not here to fix you or heal you or take on everything for you. They are just here to hold space for you to heal yourself, right? And provide you with the mirror, with the container, with the tools for you to go on your own healing journey. So when you meet someone, thinking about that in a way of being of service, like what's a tool I can offer? What's a reflection? Or maybe it's, doing a donation, again with Mercury and Libra, to a service or an organization that you think is killing it and making the world a better place. Okay, so I encourage you to explore all of these things. And as we go through the Virgo eclipse, eclipses, as my last reminder, are very physical. They can be very physically draining. A lot of you reached out, this past week or so of like, oh my God, I'm so tired or so wired, or I feel so like nervous system overload. So all these things too are really just done in service to you, feeling, as nourished and as held and as grounded as possible so we can navigate these big, more chaotic energies, right, with grace and ease. So just in closing, just my always reminder is Virgo energy is not about being perfect, okay? And that can sneak up a lot in the psyche during these Virgo transits, especially as the eclipses are kind of like, "Meow," like having us just feel a lot, maybe overthink some things. Instead, it's about being present and it's about being in continued practice and being in a state of devotional living, okay? So every tiny choice, every ritual, every aligned yes you give yourself is an investment, is a turn, towards living in your cosmic zone, in that place of ease, in that place of joy, that place of magic. And with this eclipse, the universe is going to tell you, I imagine, in some big way, stop waiting for the perfect moment, or stop waiting to feel perfect enough to be chosen, to be ready, right? Stop trying to find the perfect system, the perfect way of doing this, the perfect you, the perfect other. Just start where you are. Trust where you're being led. Know that you have everything you need within you. And remember that the practice makes the magic, right? Whether it's your spiritual practice or the just showing up consistently, okay? Your life doesn't need to be flawless. You are flawless. Your life doesn't have to feel that way. It just needs to feel aligned. And that is the real glow up I am after for you. So as always, let me know, in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, how the eclipse is manifesting for you, how you're feeling it. We are going to be gathering in our community, the Cosmic RX Plus Premium community. If you want to have more in-person connection or in-person via Zoom, but also if you want an in-person connection and you're in the New York area or headed that way, I'll see you on September 16th. And in the meantime, I am wrapping you and your loved ones, first of all, and so much just protection right now and comfort. And of course, a big cosmic hug from my heart to yours. And I always got to throw in my cheeky prayer for each and every one of you to be blessed with those big, fat, juicy checks and that hot, fulfilling, toe curling sex. I will see you next week. Much love. Mwah. Do you love getting your Cosmic RX for the week here and want more? Make sure to sign up for our premium subscription so you can get exclusive access to bonus podcast episodes, all of my astrology info for the month ahead, and live new and full moon calls to help you manifest your dream life with an intentional international community of other cosmic baddies. Sign up through our link in show notes.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you want to know more about Cosmic RX, head on over to thecosmicrx.com. And if you really love this show, I'd love it if you left a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. I super love hearing from you and reading your reviews. All right, you cosmic baddie, tune in next week. And until then, remember, love yourself fully, work your magic, and take no shit.